How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Ghostbusters Back in Town issue number 1. This is a prequel comic to the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie and serves to bridge the gap between Afterlife and Frozen Empire. And overall, I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters, and I'm actually a really big fan of tie-in comics. I like how they flesh out little extra bits of the story, and going into Frozen Empire and seeing the characters all already settled in New York, it was one of the pieces I did feel was missing. Although that being said, Frozen Empire already had a ton of pieces. We didn't really need to add more to that, so the idea of covering this as a comic book I felt made a ton of sense, and I was really excited for this. However, that being said, one thing I didn't know when I saw the initial cover image is this is actually a kid's comic. Like, you look at this front art cover there, that's really good and really cool, and you think, oh, cool, a Ghostbusters comic, but then you look at the inner art and you're like, oh, this is a kid's book. And the thing is, I don't mind there being Ghostbusters kids comics, I just wish it was a little clearer, and I prefer the adult comics, you know? And the thing is, that always is kind of a thing with Ghostbusters, is like, what age is this supposed to be for? And, you know, I say it's fine, I just, you know, you should know going in that this has kids book art, you know? And it also, again, it's fun to see them setting up shop, you know, moving in, everything's still in boxes. I did like that element of the story, but actually not much happens in this book too. Like, you get most of it is just moving in, settling into your new life. There's a few hints that something's gonna happen, but it's not till after the halfway point that we finally get to see a ghost, and it's a fun sequence when we get there. But yeah, it's strangely a little slow for this comic as well. So it's not everything I was hoping for. It's interesting enough, and if you go in the right headspace, you know, it is fun to fill in this hole. I just wish it was a little different, you know? But without further ado, let's switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys a little bit of the story and the art. No major spoilers, but let's go ahead and switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Ghostbusters Back in Town number 1. Taking it closer to the camera, I do want to say, yeah, this is with Dark Horse now. Ghostbusters used to be with IDW, but from what I gather, IDW is not doing so great. $3.99, which is a fair enough price, and there's the barcode. I also really do like the art on the front cover. It really does have the right feel and tone to it, but this is another case of not matching the innards. And I know that, you know, obviously the cover is always a better quality, but it makes it look like a Ghostbusters book for more grown-ups, and then it's quite apparent when you flip it open, like, oh, this is actually a kid's book. Kind of wish I knew that before I hyped myself up for it so much. But we do get a credits page, script by David M. Booher, with art by Blue Delliquanti. And we also get a previously on, which is really great, and we find out that this comic takes place a year and a half after Afterlife, and they're going to New York, and Winston started up the Ghostbusters. Anyway, after that we get into the story proper. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to take a peek inside and see what's up with this book. We get to see that since they're turning it back into Ghostbusters, they have to put up the sign, and we get this accident caused by a cockroach there. Well, after that, we cut to the family driving to New York in the car, and the kids are, of course, worried about, you know, what their new life will be. We also do get where they'll text their friends from Afterlife, so Finn Wolfhard there is going to be texting Lucky, and Phoebe will be texting Podcast, so they have someone to bounce off, even if those characters don't physically appear in this comic. And we get Paul Rudd there, not 100% likeness, but I kind of wonder, he's not on the cover either. I'm wondering if they couldn't get the Paul Rudd likeness, don't want to pay that fee. But anyway, Winston will show them around the firehouse, and all of a sudden, the power will go out. And I will say, power out in the firehouse, I expected a lot more creepy stuff to happen in this sequence that didn't really happen, and the power goes on relatively quickly, and they find a smoked cockroach. So apparently that's going to be a thing with this story. We do get them adjusting to their new life in New York. We get a fun bit like here where Phoebe's school is actually the Zedmore Academy, so they've named the school after him, which is pretty fun. And we do get little slices of, what their life is like in New York. And, it is fun to move into the firehouse and all the antics you get up into in there. And, even like the back of this is a fun little diagram as to what the firehouse looks like on the inside. But yeah, it's kind of strange that, you had a power outage and a couple cockroaches. This book takes a while to get going. Eventually, like after the halfway mark, we do meet this fun little creature here. And, you do get a fun ending bit. I will say that this guy, even though he looks like the creature from the beginning of Frozen Empire, I think it's a completely different one. That one was blue, this one is green. They just both happen to be serpentine. But that being said, it's a fun enough little book. I wish it was aimed more at adults, and I wish more happened in it. But it is a section of the story that we didn't really get, What was it like moving to New York? And I do like to see this piece of the puzzle. It's just not the best comic ever or anything. Oh well. But anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Ghostbusters playlist, where you can actually see my review for both Afterlife and Frozen Empire, as well as a few other Ghostbusters related things. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.